Hey, it's a lot of pressure, man. And for me, I think Miles Garrett would take a pressure off the offense. I really do. I think that they can have a bad game. Jared Goff can have a bad game and they could still win, man. I mean, I get it. I get the picks, man. But for me, am I saying give up first, second, third? I'm not saying do all of that. I don't think it'll take all of that, man. I mean, listen, Miles Garrett ain't going back to Cleveland. He signed a pretty much a goodbye letter with his signature saying I'm not coming back here. You know what I'm saying? So now that's an open ticket for anybody who's willing to step up and do it, man. For me, I think that you know, let's just say you give up. For me, I'm only giving up 2 first round picks. I mean, I don't think at like you said, the age we was talking in the pre-show. I think the age does matter, and I don't think you can sit there and command, a fresh Eli Manning rookie for or Philip Rivers a swap where you can say or Andrew Luck type deal, you know, put said player. I don't think you can command 4 draft picks to get Miles Garrett. I don't think they could do that at this point. You know what I'm saying? The player is the one that I've been kind of jockeying around if they want a player. Okay. The farthest I'm going is I would give up a first this year. I give up a first next year. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Far as like people worried about the players that we have and this guy, we're not going to be able to keep this guy and this guy. Listen, 2 years in NFL is eternity, man. A lot of these guys in the next 2 years, you probably not even gonna want them on the roster. You know what I'm saying? Taylor
Uh,
Decker,
oh, with
AE.
him, yeah.
You
Now
know what I'm saying?
we ain't talking about the studs though.
Well, I'm talking about Brian Branch is a non-negotiable. I wouldn't trade Brian Branch. I would think about Kirby Joseph. I don't think Kirby Joseph is irreplaceable like that to me. You could get a safety just maybe the same frame build scheme that Kirby Joseph can do. I would think about it with him. Obviously you're not going to trade any. You wouldn't think. I'm just picking names. I would just say this. Everybody's so in love with Sam Laporta. I think Sam Laporta is expendable in a case like this. I think you could get a. I think we need a pass catching tight end anyway. Another guy that you need to put out there anyway next to Laporta. But I'm just putting stuff out there, stuff
No,
that
I'm
will
listen. I
kind of
want
make it
because
work.
they
You
might
know what I'm
try to
saying?
tear you a new one for that. But I agree.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything necessarily special about Sam. I
yeah,
think Sam is a good player.
yeah.
Is he better than Hawkinson? I'm pretty sure he is. But it's like it's you just when you watch him, it just you get a feeling like
He's
okay,
wide
I
open.
understand. Yeah, it's like he disappears, and then you can always say, well, it's the offensive scheme, and they're just not giving him the looks.
Yeah,
No, it seems like from an overall standpoint, he's not like the. I'll let you finish it because people
yeah.
already know how I feel about Sam Laporta,
I
but I'll
just
let you
think that,
finish it.
yeah. I was just gonna say, well, I could catch the ball if I'm wide open, right? Anybody can
Yeah,
catch the
that's
ball.
it. You don't see anything like physically dominant for him,
Yeah,
just
you're like
cooking people to get open
right
or
there.
using
We
brute
go.
strength to get guys off him or outrunning people. Or
Yeah, yeah.
usually his catches and his touchdowns over the first 2 years of his career look like to be schemed up plays from Ben Johnson.
There we go. That
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he sucks, or I'm not
he
saying
made
that
an
at all.
incredible catch in that playoff game, though.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah.
That was one good play. But what I'm saying is, well, I just think that the Miles Garrett thing, you got to take a look at it, man. Because to me, this is why I say that too. You can't rationalize to me. Let's just say it is 2 first round picks. Okay, let's just say for the sake of the topic, that's what it would take to get him. Okay, you can't tell me that you wouldn't trade 2 first round picks to get. I don't want to see another development. I don't want to see another Broderick Martin that you're going to take that won't
Don't
even see the
draft one.
field.
Don't
Brad
draft one
Holmes,
then.
Brad Holmes is doing that. So we can't get too enamored with players that's not even here yet. You know what I'm saying? You can't say, well, oh man, don't you can't draft this guy you talk, this invisible person in this draft ain't even here yet. So that's number one. So you gotta trust that Brad Holmes, if he trades 2 first-round picks, I've heard people say it's going to cripple the organization, and that it's going to set us back. I mean, really, for 2 players that not even on the roster, that probably may not even be a starter. If you could assure me that, okay, we're going to get 2 starters out of it, I want to talk, maybe. But don't tell me we're going to get a project or a guy that's like
I think the
100.
whole I think the whole argument people have is that, okay, you lose the picks. Not only are you using the picks and you're losing the capital to help replenish the offensive line, or maybe replenish the secondary, or replenish, like, prime example. All right, so let's say, tying all this together, let's say
Uh-huh.
you do trade for Myles Garrett. He's 30 years old. He's
Yep.
about to hit the back end of his career. He's still a highly productive player, but he's about to be 30. We already know what 30 is in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to want a long-term deal, unless he happens to be one of those guys that just, I'm fresh out of Cleveland, I'll be a hired gun for the next 3 or 4 years. I don't think he's
Yep.
that type of guy. This kind of reminds me of what the Bears did when they went all in for Khalil Mack. Now, they gave up a lot for Mack, and Mack was there for what, 2 years, and
Yeah.
nothing ever came of it. Like, they never solved the quarterback position. They had a really good defense, but what did they really have to show for it? Not saying that that's what it would turn out to be for us, but just in general, man, if you just look at it for what it is, it's not just as cut and dry, I think, as people are trying to paint it as. Because, like I said, you trade the draft capital. Okay, you give Garrett the long-term security he wants. Okay, now in another year and a half, 2 years, you're gonna pay Aiden. And I was talking to somebody earlier about, well, Aiden's been hurt. This is the type of organization what they built off of. They're gonna pay him. They're gonna pay him while he's hurt. Like, that's probably how it's gonna be. He
Yeah,
may not. He
rightfully
may
so.
have a 5.5, 6 sack season next year, and they probably will still pay him. So you're gonna pay him. He's gonna probably be the highest paid player in the league, well, defensive player in the league.
Rightfully
Now it
so.
sets a bad precedence when you got guys who've been there for 4 years who completely outplayed their draft position. They completely outplayed their contracts, and you can tell them they got to take less money. Or
Well,
you got to
that's
take
all the
less
more.
market. You got to take less than market value than a dude that just came in as an outsider.
That's all the more. Listen, that's all the more. These guys, we always say, "What's NFL mean, man? Not for long." I just think that you can't hold on to these guys forever, man. Listen,
You don't
I
want to
seen,
cripple your team, though,
but
man.
listen, or Anzarike ain't coming back. He probably gonna be in New York. I mean, it just okay. The team as it sits right now, Walt, ain't good enough. Okay, let's just be honest. They ain't good enough on defense. Everybody can try to spin it all they want. Oh well,
Who, the
Jared
Lions?
Goff is, yeah. They're not good
Well,
enough to
healthy they are, and
listen.
I think that's something
They
people
not they
forgetting. Like, these players
listen.
didn't die; they
All
coming
I
back next year.
When they had everybody healthy, the pass rush it still wasn't good enough. Okay, just let's be honest. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about last year.
Well,
We couldn't close the deal. I'm just going off of we won 2 division titles. Okay. And I think now is the time to elevate, man. It's time to hit
well,
another button on the elevator, man. To
let me
me,
ask you this.
I don't think 2 rookies would change like the trajectory of this organization. I don't. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? If you give up,
I'm saying that if you add it to what we already have, and I think that's Hutchinson been gone for so long, Aleem been gone for so long. It's like people think they just passed away or something, and they just not coming back. Like, them dudes gonna be back next season. Now, a bigger question, which points me in the direction of kind of vetoing the whole Myles Garrett situation, is: are you gonna pay Carlton Davis $20 million a year?
nope.
Well, if you're
I'm
not gonna
not.
pay him, now you got to replace him with another cornerback. You gonna
I
do that in free agency, or you gonna do that at the draft?
I let it stand. Hey, I let it ride with Miles Garrett. He gonna make Terran Arnold a Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
He would make Rakestraw coming back. I mean, you got some pieces
no,
that you
I
get.
like it.
I just don't. Tell me something different, man. That you think that the Lions will really be able to not benefit from this trade. I just
No,
don't
don't get
think.
me. I'm talking about in the short term. That looks really damn good. A
That's what
defensive
I
line
want.
with a Lane McNeil, Marcus Davenport, I guess, Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, Jack Campbell, Anzalone, and them two safeties. It looks really, really damn good.
Hmm.
But
That's
like I said,
championship team, man.
nothing we
Championship.
talking about is guaranteed.
Yeah, like you could. Okay, let's
All of it's
just
what
say
ifs.
what if they? Let's just say they don't do it, and we banking on. Remember, we got to wait. Aiden Hutchinson may not be 100% right off the bat. Lee McNeil's a big guy. He might not be 100%. Okay, right off the bat, we talking about the beginning of next season. I don't know if anybody checked our road schedule. Look at the 9 games that we play on the road next year. Okay. And if you can't get to the quarterback, you're cooked. The 15 wins don't mean nothing going into next year. You know what I'm saying? And I just think, and then hell, Kelvin Shepard might want him. You know, Kelvin Shepard might have a whole different philosophy than Aaron Glenn. I mean, I think people he might be banging the table for him. You never know. I mean, maybe not. Maybe he thrives with the 7th round draft pick and he's gonna coach them up and they're gonna be a Super Bowl team. I just think that the time is now, man. I think 2 years from now is eternity in the NFL. Jared Goff might not even be our quarterback in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Jahmyr Gibbs, we might be at a crossroads or where he's going to probably be the lead back, but Montgomery won't be here. You know what I'm saying? I think that you be doing the veterans a disservice not to make this team better, man. And go for it right now. I think Taylor Decker. I think that David Montgomery. I think Jared Goff. I think that DJ Reader has paid his dues and ready to win, man, win something big. So I think it's some players there. Of course, I think regardless if you get Miles Garrett Walt, you're gonna lose some players anyways. It's gonna happen, man. And I trust Aaron Glenn will replenish those players, man. It's not.
Well, I mean, we did talk about what Seattle was able to do.
Yeah,
It comes. No, you look at Seattle, the Legion of Boom. They were able to keep Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas for what 2 contracts
yeah.
together. So I mean, it's possible. But like I said, the thing is, also this is something else that points me in the direction of not believing Brad Holmes would do it because he's consistently said since he's been here that when it comes down to it, there was those premium positions. He talks about cornerback, he talks about edge rusher, he talks about left tackle.
Yeah.
Do you think does he strike you because we haven't seen him do this in 4 years as somebody that would invest that much? First of all, they haven't invested too much money in the defense, period.
Right.
So
Right.
now you asking him to make what? Put two 30 plus $1 million pass rushers on his defense? Because at the end of the day, he's not gonna come here for just 2 years without any security. He leaving Cleveland. He said he wanted to go to a winner. Now, unless he just doesn't want to be in Detroit and he just coming here for the money and because we don't know what Myles Garrett mentally is made of like that. We did read what he said about the Cleveland Browns and the city and all of that good stuff, but to me, it's just too many what ifs right now with it, man. Like we talk about guys, invisible players being drafted, and we don't know what they're gonna turn out to be. Garrett could come here and tear a bicep and be out for the for the whole season for all we know.
Yeah.
It is
And
just I've always been very headstrong when it comes to building the overall team. And for Lions fans who never seen the overall team in our career, in our lives, until this man showed up here, and now we have a complete roster. People forget what the hell this roster was. To me, that type of move sounds like SOL. It sounds like go get the shiny bright toy and we'll worry about building a team later on. That's to me, that's what it kind of sounds like.
I don't think we
Because
that anymore,
we've
man.
never had a team built like this. Remember what this cupboard looked like when they took over.
Yeah, but it's different though, man. I get what you say. It's a different time, man. I think that now is the time more than ever to make a move like this, man. Trust me, I don't want it to seem like I don't value the draft because I do. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part of it where I got I got confidence that okay, if we lose some guys, we could make it work. You know what I'm saying? All of these guys that we have, I just don't see a negative part to it, man. Because I think that, like I said, who knows? Miles Garrett, 2 years might be what we need out of him. Well, you know what I'm saying? We only who said we need 9 years out of him or it's 5 years. I mean, that's a long time anyway. You know what I'm saying? I think this team will be
Yeah.
drastically changed in 5 years. Dan Campbell might even be the coach. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff can change in 5 years. So I just think right now, man, like next year, heck, somebody else could get hurt. You know, on the offense, the offense has had good luck with no injuries, basically with just Montgomery last
And if
year.
that's the case, we cook.
Yeah, so I
Because
don't
you
want
ain't
to be
winning. I don't
cooked
care
like
how
that.
good the defense is. You ain't winning without an offense.
I
And
be
we ain't got a
I
quarterback that's the best when it comes to improvising and winning, doing things on his own. So, and I talked to a close friend about that same exact thing. It's funny you brought that up yesterday. Like, what if this team, regardless of how good we think the defense could be with Garrett, does any of it even matter if the offense turned around and had the same type of injury luck? Because
think
it
it
ain't
would
like we
help.
got Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson at quarterback, guys that can make it happen in spite of missing a left tackle and missing their top two wide receivers and Gibbs out for the season. We don't have that type of quarterback. This is a
Yeah,
guy that we just invested a lot of money in, and you want to make sure this dude, listen, the dude can't move. So we need to make sure we keep them guards as healthy and talented and cohesive as possible. That's what whole thing I keep talking about with the domino effect. Like, it's just not bring Garrett over and we get the Lombardi. Like, we bring Garrett over, that's still assets, draft capital, as well as money that won't be able to be allocated to the offensive line.
but you
Then you
could do
talking
that
about,
though.
you gonna pay Gibbs in 2027. That's gonna be around a year that you're gonna start talking about him probably, unless
Yeah.
he have another 20 touchdown season next year.
Well, I'm like this. He on my radar anyway. Like regardless of
Gibbs,
yeah, on my radar. I'm just saying as far as the keep. I'm saying yeah, of course. Him,
him and
Brian
Branch.
Branch, keeper. I mean, you really it comes down to if the Lions want to really. It might mean Miles Garrett or Jameson Williams or Miles Garrett and Kirby Joseph. You know what I mean, it might be one of those two guys to determine if they really want to keep one of those two to get
Yeah.
Miles Garrett.
It's
You
a
know what I'm
good
saying?
chance we're gonna have to end up if Garrett came over, we would have to sacrifice
One
somebody.
player, one of those guys,
Or
and maybe a
two.
couple of draft pick. What I'm getting to, you put up a great point, and I'm glad we're doing our offensive line show tonight to kind of highlight what. And you absolutely right. You 100%. You know how I feel about the offensive line, and I think that the guard play has got to be huge. For this team, and that's the one part I am shaky on with this team, regardless if we get Miles Garrett or not. I think that the offensive line got to be some reinforced. So if you was to tell me if we did the deal, well, I think we can get. I think this draft is deep enough offensive lineman wise, and we've been highlighting guys that we could kind of come in and do the job. I think that they can still get. Let's just say we're only giving up one pick this year, to get them. So you can get the best guard or in the second round. I mean, I believe that, man. I just think that it's ways around this thing. We get creative. We ain't got to worry about drafting because we know this man can draft. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to worry about that. So let's just say, he really, he knocks it out of the park on second, third, fourth round picks. You know what I'm saying? And we right back where we were. You know what I'm saying? Pre all of this. So yeah, and then like you said too, you made a really good point about Brad Holmes got to nail the draft anyway because last year draft was kind of suspect, low key. I mean, he has, got some good pieces, but last year we didn't get the contribution like we did the year before. You know what I'm saying? So, um,
That's
I,
something else I think we gotta, as fans, we gotta bank on. Like, if we give up this draft capital this year, because it's still high capital, whether people respect it or not. The 28th picking 28th in the first round is still 28th in the first round. You're still talking about getting one of the top a top. You still have one of the top 28 picks out of 200 and what is it 256 I think
Yeah.
players. I mean picks in the draft. So that's still an elite player, and you go from that to maybe not having your first pick until pick 60. So no, the number one guard by the pick 60, number one guard, number two guard, number three guard, number four guard is probably all gone by then. So it's gonna be slimmer pickings. I think the deeper you start, backing into the draft. But and then now you're talking about banking on third round and fourth round picks. That don't happen every year. Like like Brian Branches don't fall all the way to the third round every year.
Yeah, but I think Miles Garrett is worth every. I don't see a scenario where it's bad for us. I don't, man, because for me,
If we
I'm not
don't
married.
win,
I'm not married. I'm not married to this guy. I'm not married to Miles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? Like that, where I'm like, man, I want you here for the next 4 years. No, dude, it ain't even like that because we know how quickly stuff change. Let's just say he went to one of the teams we chasing, and I thought somebody made a very good point.
the Eagles.
You always got to go, and I truly believe that you got to counter. First thing I always say the goal of the season is to win your division, which we have the last 2 years. And I do think that whatever think about the games that we're gonna have coming up next year. Just look at our schedule for number one. I think if our pass rush is lacking, we getting torched, man. We gonna get we gonna feel it next year. And I think that people think we automatically gonna just go on the field and win. I think that's the wrong attitude to have, man. You know what I'm saying? So for us, we have to change it. You know what I'm saying? We have to change some things on defense. And then what a way to just make a statement, man. Like we still here. I get what you're saying. Like Makai Wingo is a guy I got really high hopes for. Okay, he's really good. He really had a good showing his rookie season. He's fine. You know what I'm saying? I think that I'd rather have Myles Garrett than give me Myles Garrett in a fifth round rookie over Davenport and Zadarius Smith. You know what I'm saying? I just think that would be a more viable scenario to me. Give me Josh Pascal. Give me, I've seen enough of Kaminsky. I don't have to have him come out in 2025 and show me, like, you know what I'm saying? Just let's upgrade that part of the team, man, and just show we mean business. That's all for the next couple of years. If it prohibits us from signing Hutchinson, then yeah, that's an issue. You would think we'd be able to work everybody's money to where, everybody getting paid, and that's the number one goal. We always believe, and trust me, I believe it. Every player should get their money, man. You know what I'm saying? They deserve it. They should. I'm not saying nobody take a pay. Hell, I don't take a pay cut on my job, so I don't expect nobody to take a pay cut nowhere. So, but you know, I just think it's a good thing. Well, I mean, we could go on all day and all night talking about the pros and cons, and I like where your head at about
Well, I'm gonna ask you
what we
this:
have to do to keep this team steady. You know what I'm saying?
is it necessarily him, or is there? Because we went through this prior to the trade deadline.
Yep,
Is it
we did.
necessarily him or Max Crosby, or could you go out and would you be happy if Brad Holmes went out in free agency and not necessarily made a big splash, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe a medium splash?
Yeah, I would
Maybe
like
a
a medium splash.
Khalil Mack and another player, or like, does it necessarily have to be a name? Because I think he can go out in free agency if he decided to spend a little bit. And we talked about Khalil Mack last year about, Mack is a guy that you could give Mack probably 17 mil for the next 2 years, and that'll still be substantially cheaper than any other hired gun out there. That's if you wanted a Khalil Mack. I'm just throwing Mack out there for
Yeah,
an
I don't,
example.
but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's free agents out there on the market that you can bring in to improve this team and add to Aiden Hutchinson. We talked to the scout, matter of fact, from the Senior Bowl last Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and he brought up when I asked him about Myles Garrett after we went off. He like, well, you guys already have a Myles Garrett. He just hurt right now. So at the end of the day, do you guys really want to mortgage everything and run the potential of ruining what's been built for the last 4 years, because there's going to be financial ramifications from it. So I mean, that's the whole thing I'm concerned about. Is like players stay injured and stay gone for so long, people act like they died. You know what I'm saying? Aiden's going to be back. McNeil's going to be back. Is that a guarantee Hutchinson is going to be what he was last year? No guarantee. It may take him a full season. He may not be old Aiden until 2026 for all we know. But I mean, it's just all of this is just full of so many what ifs. I'm about it. Like I said, I like the idea of bringing the big splash player in, and then it makes fan bases look at other fan bases like, yeah, our team is about this life too, and we do the big time things. I'm cool with the way the dude built the team, because he took this team from nothing to what it is now. And it's
Okay.
like for the last 3 years, fans been so fickle with him. It's like, 2 years ago when we was winning down the stretch. Oh, we winning down the stretch. We won. We finished 9-8. They wanted to trade for somebody then. Then the
I,
next year they wanted to trade for Crosby. Now this year they want to trade for somebody. It's like I haven't seen a fan base so eager to destroy what somebody built that we never even had. That's the whole thing about it. We act like we Eagles fans to somebody that
but
we just
we
used to winning. Let the man process play out.
but we have. I mean, we have built. That's the whole point, though. In my opinion, I just think we have built. We have. Don't try. Not you. I'm not talking about you doing this, but I'm saying like, okay, for the person that's saying that we could just draft and just be better and just draft and just make progress and win Super Bowls. Yeah, of course, you got to have those players. But I think it comes a point in time, like we seen it with Rasheed Wallace, right? The Pistons had, and then you got Rasheed, and it kind of like made you unstop. You know what I'm saying? I just don't believe that's fairy tale, man. To think that you could just take guys like I don't like just not star players and just go on this magical run and win a Super Bowl. If that's ultimately what we talking about.
Man, we got stars.
I mean,
We got 7 players that's top 5 at their positions in the league right now.
yeah, but it
This
didn't
ain't the
mount.
old 4 Pistons.
Yeah, it didn't mount to anything though. I mean, we can't really use that argument because we didn't win.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
didn't?
we didn't win. Stay with me. We didn't win as we planned to win, and we thought we would win enough. If we were so glazed over by what we thought we had, like even with the injury, we still say, yeah, hey, we gonna beat Washington, which I thought we should have still beat that team. But what happened? The offense let us down. You know what I'm saying? They did, it was a
They
comedy
laid
of
egg.
things that did. So I just believe that don't try. This is what I'm afraid was going to happen. We don't do the deal. Myles Garrett goes to Cleveland or he goes to Green Bay. If Brad Holmes takes Edgerrin Cooper last year, right, instead of taking what was it, Manu or Sayoni Baki, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. You know what I'm saying? So don't sell me on we just gonna get this 4th round guy from Ball State and he's gonna be all right. No, man. Not you. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying it in general because I know you don't think like that. But what I'm saying is it's almost to the point to where you gotta put your chips in at some point. And we talking about 2 or 3 years down the road, and it may that what we selling might not ever come to fruition. That's all I'm saying. And you don't want to miss it because remember, if you go to a rookie quarterback and then too, the Jared Goff's on the clock, and however people want to take the Jared Goff is on the clock, bro. You know what I'm saying? Not as him slighting him as a person, but he's getting to the age where you think Jared Goff's going to be the Lions quarterback the next 5 years.
No, I
Probably
get it.
not.
You're
Probably
right.
not. You know what I'm saying? So you want to win with Goff, one of the top quarterbacks in the league. If you go to a rookie, not Hendon Hooker, but I'm just saying if you go to him or whoever else, the whole philosophy of this team going to change. The whole look of this team is going to change. So I just think right now more than ever, man. I'd rather go with Miles Garrett and just try to win this thing, man, in the next couple years, and then you could still sign Gibbs. The wild card is how they feel about Jameson Williams and how they feel about Kirby. I know they like them guy. I'm not saying that they don't, but I'm saying that are they gonna, like you said, you absolutely right, man. You mortgage the future on some things just to get this guy in here, and then like you said, what if you bring Miles Garrett? I'm not naive to the fact that it might not work. What if you bring him over and it just don't work, right?
Well,
Or
then
he gets
fans gonna
hurt.
kill Brad Holmes for it.
Yeah. So Brad Holmes, right. And then for the people that just want to slight him, then like you said, they ain't gonna give him no pass. They gonna say, "Well, it's the wrong move, and he shouldn't have did it." You know what I'm saying? But they was the one
Why you
saying,
listening to us idiot fans?
"Yeah, exactly." So I get it. It's damn if you do damn. It's a good conversation,
I
man. But
just
I like
I'll
where your
say this,
head's at up.
man.
You know.
I think the Rams, I don't think the Rams should be Lions fans model organization for winning, because they won one. I get it. Everybody keeps talking about this whole F them picks things. Thing is this, and I understand the Patriots had Bill Belichick and they had Tom Brady. Patriots won what, 7 Super Bowls? Not
Yeah.
saying F them picks. They was
Yeah.
pro picks.
Yeah.
I understand the Pittsburgh Steelers had Big Ben, and then they had a great organization or whatever. They won 2 Super Bowls. They went to 3. They drafted. They never had the philosophy of F them picks.
Yeah.
Who else? Baltimore Ravens historically have always been predicated off of drafting. Ozzie Newsome. Now, do Baltimore have a bunch of Super Bowls? No, they don't. But the Baltimore Ravens are widely considered as what, one of the winningest organizations in the league and well-respected organizations in the league. So I don't understand where Lions fans get this whole F them picks things from. Like the Rams are just the model organization to follow behind. Well, they said F them picks, so we gotta say F them picks because you can't win unless you say F them picks. That's BS, because we got countless examples of organizations doing things the right way, the way our GM trying to do it. It's just not happening as fast as fans want to see it. And I think at the end of the day, you got to realize, man, you win at your own pace. Keep your eyes off other teams' paper. That's how I say. Keep your eyes off the Rams' paper. Keep your eyes off the Eagles' paper. Whatever, your success comes how it's supposed to come. Everybody not gonna win a Super Bowl in their first 2 years, or their first 3 years, for that matters. It reaches a point in time where maybe the Lions got to go through some pain. Maybe the Lions will win it in 225. Maybe they'll win it in not this year, but who knows? The Lions may win it in 2026
Yeah.
after
I give them.
losing again in 2025. We don't know. I get it. It's not happening as fast as fans want it to happen, but we went from 3 wins to 9 wins to 12 wins to 15 wins. We won our division the last 2 years. The team ain't trending down. The team is trending up.
Yeah.
So I get it, man. I just don't think, for a team that's the ninth youngest in the league, that has 7 players that are unanimously considered and ranked top 5 of their positions, I don't think our window is closed. Now, people may view it as, well, Jared Goff is y'all quarterback, so y'all window ain't that wide open. And if that's the way people feel, I get that too. But the best way to keep that window open longer with an average quarterback is to make sure you keep a solid team completely all around them. And I just think that it doesn't guarantee anything right now if you bring Garrett over here. Not that I expect anything to be guaranteed, but like I said, man, we can carry on about that all night, man. Uh, I do want to get into. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. I can hear
Y'all
you.
hear me?
I had you on mute. Yep. I can hear you.
Ralph says, "I hope we feel this way about a high price cornerback sometime soon." Yeah, that's one of them high price positions that I don't know. Like, they've been patchwork ever since they got here. It been patchwork at cornerback too. And I seriously doubt if they pay Carlton Davis 20 mil. So that's now we looking at a situation where not Carlton Davis, but Terrion Arnold, Amik Robinson,
The Rake
and
Straw.
yeah, 3 question marks. Even though we all like Amik Robinson, but that's who, boy. This team got some questions. But all right, man, let's get into these offensive lines. Who you want to start with first? Because we went through the last 8. I think some of those guys we went through,
Uh-huh.
some of them. I don't want it to sound like we just love all the offensive linemen in this class, but I think it's a testament to the amount of talent that's
Yep.
in this class, man. There's a decent amount of guys. Everybody we talked about the last 2 shows probably will be day 1, day 2 picks.
Yep. I love
Each and
Charles
every
Grant.
last one of them.
Let's talk.
You know.
Let's go with your guy, man. Let's go with Charles Grant. You know what I'm saying? I think he's very interesting. Um, what is he? 6'4", 300, right? That's what the measurements I got. Yeah, 6'4", 300. Yeah, man. I'll let you. I'll just say what I want to say about him because I really like him, and man, gold star for you for picking this guy out. I mean, I didn't know anything about this guy, man, so I had to kind of look him up when you told me you was going with him. You and Grant, I give you credit again because you even pointed this guy out and not just weeks ago. You did, you know what I'm saying, before the season was over. So yeah, I like this guy. He's a super wild card in this whole thing. Walt, I wonder, and then I'm gonna ask you a question before you take over. I wonder how high is this guy gonna go, man? Because I think that the sky's the limit for this guy. I really do, man. I really like everything. Is not nothing that I don't like. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm not saying he's the, obviously he's got some stuff he has to work on, maybe getting his hands down, and you see that, and that's a common thing with a lot of offensive linemen coming out of college. You know what I'm saying? To just get good hand placement, but this guy makes everything just seem easy, just easy, and like you said, like you highlighted the competition. William and Mary. I don't think he transferred, from anywhere else. I didn't have that part on him, so sorry about that if you did. And I
No.
didn't mention it, but yeah, I like this kid, man. I just wonder how high would you take him? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the only thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna sit there and would pick number 16 or something, and somebody say, try they could. You know what I mean? My question is, how high do you got him going, Walt? Because I really do think this kid, he's a prospect. He's raw, but I do think it's something there, man. If you could just tap it out, get it out of him. You know what I'm saying? As far as his point of attack, yeah. I mean, I seen he was kind of off balance a little bit, maybe. I mean, I'm nitpicking like crazy, just trying to find stuff, but I like that he's got experience at left tackle, a lot of experience, under his belt. And then I like the mobility at that spot, at left tackle. While we see more than ever, man, these guys are super athletic in NFL now. It seems like every year they're getting more athletic than they were the previous year, man. It's crazy. I
Yeah.
really like Charles Grant, man. So I'll let you take it away. But let's start it off. Well, how high do you think Charles Grant is? He a day 2 pick or even a day 3 or?
Um, a former colleague of mine, with another network, Draft Network, brought Charles Grant up to me about 3-4 months ago. Uh, Mainly because he was hearing around some of the draft outlets, league outlets, that this was a guy that was sort of a diamond in the rough, a guy that NFL teams, scouts were trying to pretty much keep under wraps. He's out of wraps now. The thing is this: from what I've heard, there was questions initially about whether or not he was a tackle. Some people thought he would ultimately transfer over to guard because you look at the 6'4". Once people start seeing 6'4"
Hmm.
and borderline 300, they
Yeah,
start having those guard thoughts. But when you look at him on film, if you keep it strictly, and we can get level of competition is going to be there. That's a legitimate question the league is going to have, teams are going to have about him. They're going to ask him that in interviews about the level of competition. But if you look at, I mean, he also played some decent teams. They played, well, Coastal Carolina, some other teams, but not the
yeah,
greatest of competition. But if you just purely look at the film, you look at the way he's able to get out in space and move and mobile block, the
yeah,
way he gets to the second level and he looks for action and he doesn't look like a fish out of water.
yeah,
You're talking about the elite mobility in space. And what I mean by elite mobility, in space, it's the lateral movement. He has elite lateral movement. Elite lateral movement. Sorry about that. So when you get to the point of getting out, pulling left, pulling right, zone blocking schemes, power blocking schemes, I think he has the overall mobility in space and the athleticism to excel in either type of system. You talking about the range he has in his pass sets, meaning the initial kick. We talked about Ozzie Trapilo of Minnesota, not Minnesota, but Boston College. And we talked about how quickly he gets into his pass sets. And I mentioned that I felt he gets into his pass sets quicker or just as quick as any other tackle I had recently seen at that point in time in the draft. His ability to mirror fluidly and easy. You mentioned this. He makes everything look easy. Now, some of that, I admit it, some of that may have to do with the competition.
Yeah, I
Maybe
agree.
it's that easy for him to mirror competition and stay locked in on guys and not give up sacks and not give up pressures because maybe he's just that much better than everybody he's facing,
Yeah,
at William and Mary. So, the level of competition is going to be a legitimate question for him. He's going to have to answer it because at the end of the day, you're not facing, and we talked about Chase Lunt of UConn the last show. And we
mm-hmm.
talked about how good Chase Lunt looked against Tennessee in 2023. We talked about how good Chase Lunt looked against Michigan this year. Those are high-profile schools with high-profile defensive linemen and high-profile edge rushers that he looked good against. So
Yeah,
are there going to be organizations, NFL organizations, that look at him and say, yeah, I see the tools, I see the size, I see the athleticism, I see the potential, I see the high ceiling,
yeah,
but I'm too terrified to take him in the first round? Because you don't want to be the guy that took the tackle for William and Mary at number
yeah.
11
Right.
or
That's
whatever.
right. Yeah.
But man, it takes guts to do it. That's the
Yep.
whole thing. You got to be one of those organizations that don't care. You look at
Yeah.
Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. Would they do it? Could they
Yeah.
afford to do it?
Yeah. The
And at
Niners.
pick number 31 or pick number 32, could they afford to do it? Yeah, they could. And they need tackle help. They need overall offensive line help. But a team like them, they could do it and nobody would bat an eye at it. Because if he fails, really, who cares? You're the Kansas City Chiefs. The
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia Eagles take him at number 31 or number 32. Who cares? They look like the smartest team in the room.
Yeah.
Now, if
That's
you're
right.
the Raiders or somebody, higher at Jacksonville, and Jacksonville picking in the top 5, they can't really publicly afford, I think, to make that type of decision. But I think once he works out, he starts interviewing well, I expect him to test well at the combine. It wouldn't shock me if he did sneak into the bottom of the first round, though.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I like I said, I really like this guy, man. Just for all the reasons you said. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of
Would you
times,
consider it at
uh,
28,
at 28.
depending on how the draft fell?
Mm-hmm. It depends on because I got a couple other guys that I would pick over him. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily he would be my guy, but he'd be in the conversation. I have my board, and if it's a couple guys, let's just say Chase, we'll say Chase Lund from UConn. I think I would be more comfortable with him taking him there. Gray Zabel, I've been on
Oh,
him ever
yeah.
since you brought him up. Them two guys I got over him. Um, the other guy, you got Tyler Booker. I like all three of those guys before, but like I said, it's no slight against him. That's all. But I mean, yeah, I mean, he's worthy of definitely a day 2 pick. You know what I'm saying? Just but for me, I think for him, the sky's the limit. I really do. And like you said, for an organization like the 49ers or the Chiefs or team with a pedigree out there. We could even throw like Baltimore in there. They kind
Right.
of maybe need some offensive line help. And it could be good to keep him. Or, I think Ronnie Stanley's a guy's going to be a free agent. This season. So yeah, it's definitely there. The kid definitely getting drafted. I mean, within the first picks taken, it's not going to be a Mr. Irrelevant situation here. You know what I'm saying? He'll be in the mix, with the upper echelons. I think once they come off the board, and like you said too, man, we always see a run on tackles in the draft, man. Whether whether center, tackle, guard. We do see, like you said, once you get to pick 60 or 78, like you said, and then you picking maybe the fourth or fifth deep, in each position. So
Definitely, definitely, and it's tougher. I think as Lions fans, we've been kind of spoiled the first 4 years, the first four drafts from Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, because they hit on so many players to the point that Lions fans think it's just routine to find Pro Bowl and All Pro players in the fourth round, the
yeah,
third round. Like you gotta really, you gotta do your due diligence,
yeah,
and there's some luck involved in that too. Because remember, Brian Branch was mocked to New England in the top 20, and like I
yeah,
said before, Brian Branches don't fall to the third round every year.
yeah. Total miscalculation.
Aleem McNeil's don't fall to the third round, go to the right organization, slim down 20 plus pounds, become a three technique, and then realize his ceiling and potential. Like you need some luck, you know what I'm saying, to come along in some of that as well. So that's not just your old run of the mill everyday thing, every year thing when it comes to the NFL draft. You're gonna have drafts where they don't particularly work out, at least not initially. Like we talk about the 2024 draft, this
Yeah,
past class, compared to the past three classes, this class doesn't look too good right now. Now that
yeah,
doesn't mean next year
yeah.
we can't get mad production out of
Of
this
course.
class, but right now, just being fair about it, things are kind of up in the air right now. But let's get to one of your favorite guards in this class, also one of mine, a guy that made himself a lot of money, bro.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And I
Yep.
like the fact that Will Campbell, other guys decided to check out of some of these games. They checked out of not the Pro Bowl. They checked out of the bowl games. This guy, and this helps. I want players out there to understand what he did. It's
Yeah.
important for NFL teams to see your face. It's important for them to get their opportunity to sit down and talk with you.
Yeah.
This matters. The whole process matters. Players checking out of the Senior Bowl, checking out of pro days, checking out of combines, it hurts you. This guy went to the Senior Bowl ranked pretty much as probably a third round pick.
Yeah.
He helped himself tremendously.
Yes, he
Went
did.
from
Yep.
guard to tackle seamlessly, impressed everybody. And now teams are looking at him with his versatility, his size, his athleticism, his IQ on the interior of the offensive line. Teams are now talking about him being a first round pick. So it matters. Stop blowing off these things. Stop blowing off interviews. Stop blowing off bowl games. Because
Hmm.
every opportunity you get to be around NFL teams during this time of year, you a damn fool to not take that opportunity. This young man took the opportunity and he potentially made himself a few $1,000,000. 6'5", 325, super athletic,
Hmm.
very, very pure, very, very mobile, and looks very comfortable in space for his size. Like I said, I think he handles blitzes and stunts very, very well. We talked about the same thing with Chase Lunt. That's a
Yeah.
testament to an offensive lineman's IQ. How do you handle blitzes and stunts on the move? Because as an
Yeah.
offensive lineman, people don't understand how much these guys got to think on their feet.
Yeah.
I think he's a really, really talented player. He's a diamond. He's a gem that took advantage of his opportunity, and now he's a guy that could potentially be a first round pick.
Yeah. Yeah. Love Miles Frazier, man. This is a kid, Walt. I think he had coming out of high school, he had 7 offers. And they wasn't elite schools, Rutgers, Bowling Green, Wagner, UMass, Coastal
Yep.
Carolina, Buffalo, Central Michigan, and he finally went to Florida International, and then went to the portal. Had
Yep.
offers from NC State, Ohio State, and Penn State, and before ultimately staying at going to LSU. So I
Yep.
think that this kid was in high demand, man. I really liked. I can't believe he's numbered like 39 on the list per Draft Buzz. Yeah, I like everything about this guy. At 28, damn sure would be, a pick you might want to look at if you're the Lions. And you mentioned, you highlighted the blitzes and stunts. He's great against the blitz, and we know Jared Goff just kills opponents, man, with the blitz. To have a big body in front of him like Miles Frazier on a blitz. I mean, Jared Goff would just be able to tee off on the opposing team, man, defenses. So I think he fits. I mean, this kid's a lion. I mean, he fits, what we do offensively. You know what I'm saying? He's great in the space, for having a guy like Jameer Gibbs. You can create space for him. And our run game, Dave Montgomery as well. Man, I like this guy. I really do. And I totally agree with you. I think he might sneak into a late first round pick. You know what I'm saying? I could see, teams really trying to a good team, that's maybe a playoff team, maybe like Buffalo or somebody that might need even I keep saying Baltimore because they need to replenish their offensive line a little bit, but screw them because we talking about the Lions. But I would like to have Frazier, as a line. I wouldn't be upset at this at all because I think him be able to play either spot, at least right now. You can put, Taylor Decker coming back out. Decker is coming back next year, so you can put Miles Frazier on the left guard spot. If whether you sign Zeitler or not, you know what I'm saying, and put him in there, man, and be, or Mahogany or however you want to switch it up and put him on the right side. I think he could be a day one starter. I think that highly of him. I think him and the rest of the guys that we're gonna have could be day one starters to me. So I like this kid, man. I really do. I like I think the athleticism just from Frazier and all of these guys. Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, is it like it seems like everybody's athletic, man, on offensive line. I think it's more so than ever.
Oh,
I think we're
definitely.
seeing a new era in offensive line play, man. Because if you're not athletic, I don't even think you can play in this NFL now in that game of space where
Well, look at who you
the
going
running.
against. That's why, yeah, that's why
Yeah,
when people say athleticism doesn't matter, you crazy. You must not be an athlete yourself. When you look at
yeah,
these athletes at defensive tackle now, like we call them the dancing bears. You got these dudes. I looked at Cam Jackson of Florida. Cam
yeah,
Jackson's every bit of, I think, 6'4", 325. Cam Jackson was out there moving like a tight end.
yeah,
So, and we talked about Graham Glasgow and we talked about Kevin Zeitler at points and times during the season looking overpowered, looking kind of overwhelmed by athleticism.
yeah,
It's to a point now where the old school guards, we used to call them the security guards, the short, stubby little guards that 6'3", 280, like those days are over with. Look at these guards today. A lot of these guards today are 6'5", 320 plus,
yeah,
athletic as hell. And like I said, his ability to show NFL teams at the Senior Bowl that I can play right tackle if y'all need me to, because I did it at LSU. I've done it in my career seamlessly. If you look at the fact
mhm,
that the patience, you mentioned it with Charles Grant, how patient, how patient and how fundamentally sound Miles Frazier is. That's,
yeah,
I think, the key thing you look at with tackles. How do you handle chaos? Do you panic? Do you lose your fundamentals? Does your footwork go all out the window? He looks like this is all second nature to him. And that's what you want out of a right tackle. That's what you want out of your offensive lineman, period. Are guys that don't panic under chaos, because you're gonna see, especially in this day and age in the league, these defensive linemen, these defensive coaches, they're gonna call all types of splits, all types of blitzes, all types of stunts. They're gonna figure out ways to manufacture pass rush. So the days of just dropping back and big man blocks other big man, ultimately, that's still kind of what it is at the line of scrimmage.
yeah.
But you got to be way more athletic and versatile in this day and age, man, as a guard. And this kid, like I said, he earned himself a lot of money, and he could potentially be a first round pick, I think, moving forward. Anything else you want to say about Miles?
No, I just no. I mean, I think the size, 6'5". I don't worry about the size playing guard. I think, I just want to be able to. I think this guy's it could be, like I said, a day one starter. definitely he looks the part. You know what I'm saying? Going up against those big defensive, inside guys, 6'5". He's perfect guy, man. To me, I think that he's gonna surprise some people. Once I'm glad we're doing this show because now that you can put the name to the face, is just as well as the helmet and know that we talking about him on this show, man. Miles Frazier, a ball player, man. You know what I'm saying? The sky's the limit for this guy. Potential is him. Like the definition, you can put it on him. You know what I'm saying? So
Definitely. Now we're gonna get into this next guy, man. And I love Tyler Booker. He's not as fluid or fundamentally sound as a Charles Grant, even though Charles Grant is a natural tackle. Booker has played right tackle before. He translates pretty much as a guard to the next level. If you look at his overall body type and temperament, and lack of, not to say that he's slow at all or he's bad in space, but some guys are guards. That's just that's just what it is. It takes a special type of athlete to play left tackle or
mhm.
right tackle. But excellent size, length, power combo for a guard. This is a very, very violent, physical football player, man. And
Yeah,
it's a testament to why I think he has the occasional erratic technique issues and the footwork issues. This is a guy that wants to put you through the ground constantly.
yeah,
Um, but he's so big, strong, and powerful that he gets away with a lot of technique issues in college. You look at the hip stiffness, and he also struggles at the second level. So once he gets to like that second level against those linebackers, smaller, quicker linebackers can kind of put him in a mixer and cause some problems. But if he locks onto you, it's a problem. If he gets his hands on you, it's going to be a problem. Now, what's interesting about Tyler Booker, if I'm not mistaken, he's the youngest, if not, he's at least in the 1% of the youngest guards in this class. He's only 20 years old. Majority of the guards in this class are either grad seniors, redshirt seniors, or just seniors straight up, true seniors.
hmm
So he's currently ranked right now. PFF has him as the number one rated guard in the class. I'm thinking after the Senior Bowl showing that guy like Greg Zabel had, Zabel could potentially move ahead of him. But at the moment, they do have Tyler Booker currently still ranked as the number one overall guard on their board. Because you look at the physicality, the size, the pedigree coming from Alabama, and like I said, his ability, at least in the run game alone, you have the ability from day one, I think, to put him over at right guard, and he won't give you any issues in the run game, at least while you're trying to get him things figured out at right tackle, or if you wanted to play him at tackle, because some teams still see 6'5", 325, and the way he plays the game and may still want to try him at tackle. I think he's a
hmm
guard. Period.
yeah,
I think he's still the number one overall pure guard in his class. Is he the most versatile interior offensive lineman in his class? No. But if you're looking for a pure guard to plug into a power scheme system, I think he's perfect.
yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I think I was trying to find a comparison to him. I was thinking about the Brickenshaw Ferguson. Maybe I think the Brickenshaw might have been a little bit leaner. You know what I'm saying? But the Brickshaw's around 6'5". Same weight. He a little bit heavier than the Brickshaw was. But yeah, the term road grader. I think this guy's a road grader. Like you said, if he get his hands on, he's strong as hell, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you'll be able to move this guy. I like the run game. I like the run aspect of him more so, than anything else. You know what I'm saying? I mean, man, he may not excel as much in the pass game, but I think in the run game, man, he's exceptional. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I kind of want. I want to kind of guys that run block a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's the dominant part of our team where the Lions got to keep that edge, I think. You know what I'm saying? And I think that he can be a guy that obviously you can turn to for the toughness. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Walt, it's like some guys you don't have to coach certain things. You know what I'm saying?
No,
And
he's
with
he's a
him,
tone setter.
Yeah, yep. And I think he just plays like that. So I
Yeah.
that's what I look at. Like you don't have to like get it out of him. You know what I mean? That's how he play. He don't know other way to play. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I like you put the erratic foot. I think all that's coachable, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the asset of him is just because I like how you put that the tone setter because I think other teams see that too. And I think that if he has a good combine, I mean, I think Tyler Booker will be in the mix of when the offensive linemen start to go in the draft. You know what I'm saying? When that run on guards or offensive linemen go while he's in the mix. I don't know which one, like how he's gonna rank, but rest assured, man, he's gonna be in the top 5, 6 guards that go. You know what I'm saying? When that time comes, maybe a second round pick, maybe late first round, maybe top 20. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. I think he's got potential, just like Miles Frazier. I think Tyler Booker, just saying that. I think all three of the three guys that we just highlighted, all have potential by their name. You know what I'm saying? And he fits the bill. He really does. Giving up 2 sacks, seven quarterback hits, you know what I'm saying, in his career. So yeah, I like Tyler Booker. I like him. The mean streak and in the run game, it's a plus for me. Anybody that can help out this run game for the Lions is a plus. You don't have to
Yeah,
do too
definitely. I
much either.
think that's
Well, you
the
don't have to. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean cut you off. You just
no,
play.
no, you
All
good.
you have to do with this offensive line because you got Sewell. You know what I'm saying? Who's so dynamic and athletic, and you got a guy like uh Frank Ragnow, say what you want, whatever the age, Frank Ragnow still be out there balling. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna do everything right. And he's gonna be a guy that you can learn from and you can lean on and you can let him take the lead. You know what I'm saying? So we got a good offensive line where a guy like him, man, he will be taking some good,
Yeah.
he gets some good reps with these guys, man. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's a nice, even though, like I said, it sounds like we like every single offensive lineman in this class, but
Yeah.
he's another guy that I think just him from a physical standpoint, he would be the perfect complement next to Sewell. Because Mahogany does provide that left guard, right guard versatility. So now you potentially have a situation, whether it turns out to be Booker or Zabel or whoever it ultimately may turn out to be, you now have a situation where, okay, Penei Sewell, whether we play Penei Sewell at right tackle, move him to left tackle, we know Penei ain't going nowhere for the next 9, 10 years for the most part.
Yeah.
He's gonna be here.
Facts.
And we can go ahead, we can take a guy like Christian Mahogany, who's 25 years old, about to be 26 years old, still young for guards. Guards play till they 35, 36 years
Yeah.
old.
Oh yeah, at a high
And then
level
you
too.
plug
Yep.
in, right, you take the youngest kid, the youngest guard in this draft, in Tyler Booker, who has one of the highest ceilings in his class with a ton of potential. And you look at the fact that also one concern people did have about him is the fact that he didn't block behind the most complex blocking schemes at Alabama. So for NFL offenses who do have more complex blocking schemes, it may be a little bit of a learning curve for him. But man, listen, if you give me a 20-year-old Tyler Booker with the talent he has, and you telling me I can plug that into my offensive line and Hank Fraley can figure that out, I'm cool with giving him to Hank Fraley. So it's like I said, but it's not just him. It's a few tackles. Few guards in this class that we've discussed that could be solid contributors for this team. But we can move on, man. We can move on to our last guy, Wyatt Milum. Milum's a guy I think doesn't get the respect he deserves. I don't think he's great. I think he's been great against questionable competition. Edge rusher wise, playing at West Virginia. If you look at the teams he's played against, the quality of pass rushers he's played against. But listen, you can't ignore 31 straight starts. That's durability.
Mm-hmm.
Dude hasn't surrendered a sack the last 3 years. And I was debating this with somebody earlier about him. Regardless of what the level of competition was at West Virginia. He still played at a Division I school and played against Division I competition.
Yeah.
For any offensive tackle to not allow a sack in 3 years,
Yeah. That's exceptional. Yeah.
yeah, he's doing something right. He's doing something right to not surrender a sack
Yeah.
over 3 seasons. I think he's a really good athlete in space and in pass pro when it comes to him getting back into his pass sets, being able to mirror guys. He's really athletic, but you're talking about, and you and I talked about this the last 2 videos, 6'6", 317. That
Hmm.
that taller basketball leaner type of frame. We're
Yeah.
starting to see more of those offensive tackles, the athletes at left tackle. I do think, but same thing we talked about with Chase Lunt, we talked about with Trapilo, Ozzie Trapilo of Boston College. You're talking about these taller, slimmer offensive tackles that lack the natural anchor.
Yeah.
They lack that leverage, and he's a guy that has leverage issues. You can see it consistently when it comes down to those 6'3", 6'4" defensive tackles like the Nick Scortons of the world. Those guys will give him some issues. I've seen them give him some issues. And you talk about the knee bend, of course, the lack of knee bend.
Yeah.
But for me, the main thing that worries me about him is that lack of functional strength and strength at the point of attack.
Yeah.
That's the key thing, I think, with guys like him. And once you start talking about 317, there's something to 320, 325, 330 when it comes to the tackle position. That natural anchor,
Yeah.
say, because that mass matters when it comes to being able to hold up against some of these stronger edge rushers, because you're not going to always see a 6'3", 240-pound edge rusher. There's still plenty of 6'6", 270s out there that are going to still bull rush you consistently. And we're going to get into some of those defensive linemen in some of the next videos. But I know you are a pretty big fan of Wyatt. What are your initial thoughts on Wyatt? Because he also had a pretty good Senior Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, this was a guy I had him, penciled in as a starter, what I'm saying, from day one. I do like you said, the 0 sacks in 3 years. That's quite impressive. Like you said, it don't matter where you play, in college, man. To me, that means something. And the 31 starts. I like the big time experience. West Virginia, let's just be honest. Like you just said, it was a D1 school, man. So it wasn't like, he was playing for, name a D2 school, but I do.
Jacksonville State,
Yeah, Jacksonville State. Yeah. Yeah. So
all
yeah,
respect to him.
I do think the slender what's the guy that man Pew
When you can see the lack of base right there in the picture.
yeah what's the guys what's his name Walt drafted by the Giants Pew I think he wound up playing with the Cardinals. Anyway, I think Pugh went to Syracuse. I can't think of his first name, but I know his last name is Pugh. And he kind of reminds me of him a little bit. Kind of bigger on the taller side, maybe taller than the gentleman I just mentioned. But yeah, he's athletic. I like him too, man. I think that only thing with him is it didn't seem like, though, I can't say he didn't really get challenged. He didn't put himself in bad spots. It almost like the leverage was there every time. You know what I'm saying? And I just
Yeah.
wonder, when you get bigger, faster D linemen, that we see in the NFL, I just wonder if he can make the adjustment quick. I think offensive linemen do have good instincts, and it does translate to the pros, but it may take, hopefully it won't take him half the season, to figure it out. You know what I mean? It may be a training camp type thing, preseason, then boom, you can put him out there and be comfortable. So I think that with him, like you say, the lack of just bulkiness, but I do think he can tower over, and you're not just going to be able to push him out the way. But I do think he does have to get stronger. You can tell, like you said, just by looking at it right there. But yeah, but he's got some really good traits, man. It's the traits that I would want in the left tackle. And I think because of his length, I think he can play left tackle. I think he could start on the right side, maybe to start his career. You know what I mean? Until he gets comfortable.
No, I think he's a left tackle. I think he's a pure pass protector. He's not as, I'm not going to say he's bad in the run game, because he's nowhere near bad in the run game, but he's definitely a higher elite. he's definitely right now at this stage in his career
Mm-hmm.
way more advanced technique wise and fundamentally as a pass protector than he is in the run game because he's not a
Yeah.
mauler. I think it takes, and we talked about to call him Trevor Booker. That's the NBA player. We talked about Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker is a natural guard. It takes a certain type of mentality to play guard.
Yeah.
He's not as elite, not as good in pass protection as this guy, even though they both play different positions.
Yeah.
But Wyatt, on the other hand, Wyatt isn't, and that's a part of the reason why some people limit his value heading into this draft because they want everybody to be versatile. I
Yeah.
think there's still a spot for natural, pure pass protectors like him.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have to be a left tackle, but I also provide center versatility and I provide
Yeah. That's
right
right.
guard versatility. And if you need me to be tight end, I can do that. Like they want everybody to provide versatility. There's nothing wrong with a guy being a pure specialist. You make a lot of money being a pure left tackle in the league. It's going to be interesting to see who takes him ultimately and what they do with him because I do think he's a left tackle. I think he's going to get his first opportunity will be at left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Worst case scenario, you could move him to right tackle. All depends on what type of run scheme, what type of run fit you put out as an offense. Do
Yeah.
you want to? Are you a team that anchors your run game to the right or to the left? Do you not need him to be part of the run game, an essential part of the run game? All of those things, those questions will come into play. He's definitely draftable though. I think right now, and then he's let's be honest about it, man. And this is the elephant in the room. He's old
Mm-hmm.
by NFL standards. They don't like seniors. Well, at least they used to didn't like seniors. It seems like NFL teams, the offensive line play been so bad the last few years in the league that teams are now saying, you know what? I have a $45 million quarterback, a $50 million quarterback. I
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable drafting a 21-year-old rookie and throwing him out there to protect my quarterback. So now
Yeah.
teams are looking at these seniors saying, okay, you know what? You got 2,000 snaps at left tackle. You got another 400 snaps at right guard, whatever. We want the experience now. Teams want the experience at tackle, unless you're just a unicorn, unless you're just the next Jonathan Ogden, Orlando Pace, something like
Yeah.
that. And I don't think we have that caliber of player in the draft this year. But there's still definitely a place for a guy like Wyatt.
Yeah. And then you don't be, you know, Big 12 offensive lineman of the year, man, by accident. You know what I'm saying? He was Big 10 off Big 12 offensive lineman of the year. Um, you don't get accolades, you don't make first team all American, in your conference and you can't play. You know what I'm saying? Or a guy that doesn't have the potential. So, with the four guy, I like to rank the guys, as we pick them out this week. I would say, man, this is a good one here. I would say out of all the guys here, I would say Charles Booker would be number. Well, let me do number four. I think I'm gonna say number four is Charles Grant, only because of the maybe. I'm just gonna hold the competition against him. I'm gonna use that against Charles Grant, but I like him. Okay, I'm gonna say he number four. Number three, I'm gonna put Milum at four. I mean at three, only because of the strength and everything we just talked about. And then I'm gonna go with I I'm gonna take Tyler Booker over Miles Frazier. So I'm gonna say Miles Frazier at number two, and then we're gonna go Tyler Booker number one out of this you know because I think that, man, Tyler Booker is very super interesting, man. I really like this guy a lot. Out of all the guys tonight, last time it was Chase Lund. Um,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I like and Gray Zabel was turned into a real prospect, and I see Gray Zabel was really. Some people got him going in the first round as well as Tyler Booker. So, like you said, man, this is really going to be. I wonder how many of these guys going to go in the first two rounds because, like you said, man, that's what the Lions I'm hanging our hat on because we have to get. I think we do have to replenish that offensive line to an extent. Just get one more talented guy, like you said, a guy with a high ceiling, man. You know what I'm saying? Walt, not just not that I'm disrespecting a fifth or sixth round pick or undrafted rookie. I'm just saying, just we need to
No, I
get a
get
little
it.
bit more talent. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Just saying we need to get a little bit more athletic, a little talent. We need a little bit more mean streak, to add with Sewell. I think, man, to have Tyler Booker with Sewell, the thought of that, it would be really like intimidating to me. You know what I mean? We'd be,
Well, you know what? Let's not forget. Miles Frazier played guard, so
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like, hey, I mean, if I was ranking them, I would say Charles Grant is just as physically talented as anybody else,
yeah,
but the level of competition, I think the
yeah,
arm length, the fact that we're gonna find out the true numbers at the combine for sure about all these guys. He looked bigger than 6'4" on film though. He looked like he was about 6'5" and a half, 6'6", but we're gonna find out. Um, the 300 pounds, that was what was actually placed from the school, I believe, on the website months ago. So
yeah,
who knows? Grant could show up at the combine 310, 315 for all we know. But I think from a natural talent standpoint, he's as talented as the other three guys we mentioned, if not more talented when it comes to just the ability to get out there on the edge, get into his pass sets and mirror guys consistently. I
yeah,
would say the same thing that Wyatt, I would put Wyatt just ahead of him because if you look at the production of Wyatt, it happened at West Virginia still. That's
yeah,
what the ACC, West Virginia and the ACC.
yeah,
So he still competed against high level
yeah.
5-star Division 1A edge rushers.
That's right.
And to go 3 years without surrendering a sack, there's a lot that has to be accredited to that, man. And like I said, you look at him naturally, he's one of the most purest natural guys in pass protection that you will see in this class. So that's something that has to be accounted for. I would go Booker next. And the only reason I would put Booker behind Frazier at this point in time is the fact that I just think Frazier's an all-around better player, at least a better prospect. Frazier at 6'5", 325. I know from day one he can be my guard. He's comfortable playing guard. He's more comfortable playing guard. But to see him get kicked out the right tackle during the Senior Bowl and have that seamless success that he had, and for him to look as comfortable, because let's get one thing for certain. Pass pro is still the most important thing. Everybody want to protect their quarterbacks. And Booker can be a role grader all he want. If he's not as good, and he's been pretty damn good this year in pass pro, but I don't think he displays the same mirroring skills that Miles Frazier displays. And Miles also he ain't gonna get the benefit of the doubt because like I say, he's another senior. So it's a
Hmm.
I would say Miles just has the versatility. He
Yeah,
the same size though. Him and Booker are the same size,
yeah.
but he's more athletic for damn sure. And he just displays more of what you see out of out of Wyatt Milum, which is a natural ability to anchor and get out and pass pro and look, very, very make it look easy for the most part. So, um, another solid 4 offensive linemen for the most part, man. We're gonna wrap this up. That's it. We did 12. We're gonna probably jump into some more offensive linemen later on in the draft
Yeah.
process. We got combine coming up, pro days, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So we're gonna stay on the line of scrimmage and we're gonna jump into the defensive lineman next.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Yeah. These is so this is gonna be fun, man, because it talent is draft, man. And like you said, well, just before we get out of here, I mean, I think that the conversation about Miles Garrett, trust me, I think it's way the best way to set up your team is to draft well. You know what I'm saying? And we've done that. And I think we got to continue to do it. You know what I'm saying? For us. And I get it. Every draft pick, I value every draft pick, man. That's why, last year, I think we had one question of us drafting. I think D Nice did asked was, do you think we would
Oh,
draft a good tight end, defensive end this year? And I think so. I think that this year we have to, Walt. Because especially if we don't go, the free agent route, which we know that like you put a good point with saying it may not be Miles Garrett, but what if it's a tier two lineman? You know what I'm saying at this point, signing as a free agent, and we could do that. But I do think we just need some more talent. We need to upgrade the talent, at defensive end. We know we got Aiden Hutchinson, who we know what Aiden is, you know what I'm saying? But we need him to have a compliment. And what more, I would love for us to get his compliment in this draft and won't even have to worry about it. Because I do think a young, vibrant defensive end with some want to can work
yeah.
wonders on this team. You know what I'm saying? You do. You don't have to be a superstar player to be what we need you to be to take us where we need to go. I really believe that. So I just don't want, to just to send the vibes like I don't trust the draft, because I do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all.
I just think you just don't want.
Yeah,
Personally, I don't want them to be hasty. We
yeah,
look over to the NBA. We see what happened with the Dallas Mavericks and moving
yeah,
Luke. It just with them, it just seemed like, even though this ain't an NBA show, but it seems like it was more emotional than anything. Like, we just got to get this guy out the building.
yeah,
I don't want a situation where we just have to make a move. You just feel like we just got to do something and we got to do it early, because you have no idea who's going to become available. The Super Bowl is this Sunday.
yeah.
Monday morning is when all S hits the fan.
Yeah, well, the new league
So
year started in March, right? I think March is when
yeah,
free agents not going to sign anywhere trade. I think you could do trades right now. I think.
yeah.
No, I
I
think you
mean,
got to wait to the new league year, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how it go.
I
But
think it's because the legal tampering period starts 6 days before the free agency period starts, which I think was March. If I'm not mistaken, it's March 8th.
okay,
If I'm not mistaken, but I'm just saying, like, we don't want to be too hasty,
yeah,
because I don't think the Browns gonna be hasty. I think the Browns, they want to get this done before the draft. I'm pretty
hmm,
sure.
yeah,
They
yep,
because they want the picks, and I doubt if it carries out past the draft. But you got the combine coming up. You
just,
have no idea who else is gonna become available. Somebody else, okay, the
just,
player X that may become available. He may not be a superstar. He may not be an all pro caliber player.
yeah,
But what if he's a star?
yeah.
What if
I
he's a
get
really good player that fits into our system and we able to get him for a third? What I
okay.
think that's also something that Brad Holmes is trying to wait things out. You really want to wait things out, because when you make decisions out of emotions or desperation, bad things tend to happen.
Yeah, and just to kind of follow before we get out of here, Walt. I know we're gonna do our free agent show, but just to kind of lessen the blow a little bit. Oh, this is the guy. I'm not gonna read the whole list. Just guys that I would take a flyer on. I said no to Khalil Mack, but obviously, I mean, I'd be crazy not to take a flyer on Khalil Mack, so I'm gonna include him. Khalil Mack's a free agent. Demarcus Lawrence from Dallas. Hassan Reddick seems like a flake to me. I don't want nothing to do with Hassan Reddick. Matthew Judon, Mark Davenport, obviously line. Michael Hoyt for the Rams. Joe Tryon Shayinka. I really like him. Tryon, he a free agent. And then
He a
Aziz.
type of player though. A
Yeah,
player with a big player with no position.
yeah. This remind me of what's the guy? What's the brother?
No, Joe, I'm just joking. Joe Tryon straight though. I'm
Yeah,
surprised Tampa,
yeah. And then
I mean,
Aziz
yeah.
Al Jalari. Well, and that was
Yeah.
a guy. I remember they was talking about trading for, and we could ultimately get Al Jalari now. You know what I'm saying? I like him. So yeah, it's some guys out there that you could get. You really could. So
Yeah. So, like, asking Lions fans out there, I understand everybody likes, Khalil Mack. I love Khalil Mack as a player too. But let's just say Brad Holmes didn't go that direction, but he landed you Aziz Ojulari and Khalil Mack.
Nick Bolton, a free agent, from the Chiefs, free agent too.
Yeah. Whole thing with Nick, like, well, Nick's not a pass rusher though. Nick is a old school, uh, run first, run the second linebacker. He's a run game stopper for the most part. But if we're looking for pass rush help, as a Lions fan, would you be okay with that? If we didn't get Miles Garrett, but we landed Azeez Ojulari and Khalil Mack, or we landed some combination of Azeez Ojulari and Matthew Judon.
Yeah, that's an upgrade. Hell yeah, that's an upgrade right there. Even if you told me we gonna give you Mack and Ojulari, I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? Hassan
Yeah.
Reddick, I like him. I don't know.
That man ain't get his money.
Yeah,
That man mad, and I would be mad too if I
yeah.
ain't get my bread.
They totally screwed Hassan Reddick. And then Demarcus Lawrence is interesting. I mean, is he not
type
like
of guy?
Yeah.
I don't know if he that type of guy, man.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna do them shows, man, for the free agents. But I just want to put that out there before we get out of here, man.
Definitely want to thank everybody for joining us once again tonight. Everybody that joined us for all 3 installments of the offensive lineman. We went through 12 offensive linemen, regardless of position. Trust throughout this draft process, we will be bringing y'all a whole lot more offensive linemen, but we just want to start out giving you 12 names as Lions fans that pretty much keep an eye on for that matter. We will be jumping into the defensive linemen now, staying in the trenches. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to be into these next few videos, defensive tackles, defensive ends. We're going to be covering them all, and we're going to cover 12 names that you should have on your radar. Till next time, one pride.